The players have officially quit on Raheem Morris. And I've made a video about this about 2 weeks ago. I think I want to say I did this. And now it's more evident than ever that the players no longer want to play for Raheem Morris. And it is official. The experiment for Raheem Morris as the head coach is over. I want to start by saying this, Falcons fans. By the way, welcome into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. Cousins was asked if it was time for someone to throw a chair or something across the room to light a fire, and Cousins said, maybe so. You can't fool the players. You can fool the fans because they're not in there every single day. You can fool the media because they're not in there every hour. But you cannot fool the players. And the players know what Raheem is. Raheem is not a schemes coach. He is not a master motivator coach. He is a personnel coach, much like Nick Sirianni. Except Raheem thought that all the guys around him, that he surrounded, 26 coaches, remember when he started, and said, once we get people that leave us, we'll have people to replace them. Raheem thought, if I surround myself with people that know what they're doing, I won't seem like I don't know what I'm doing. Except the problem is if you don't know what you're doing, then the people around you can't possibly know what they're doing. And that's why change is needed. And if you're ready for change, if you are ready for the push notification that says Raheem Morris is no longer employed as the Atlanta Falcons head coach, do me a favor. Hit subscribe. Not just because I'm asking you to, but because this spot specifically on YouTube and on the internet is going to be the most honest and upfront Atlanta Falcons coverage you could possibly get. So lock us in. Help us hit 47,000 subscribers. Let's also start by saying this. That loss yesterday to the Seattle Seahawks was the largest home loss since Week 17 of the 2014 season. So 11 years you have not had as bad of a loss as you had yesterday. And by the way, that loss in 2014 was to the Carolina Panthers. So for whatever reason, the Panthers just kind of have this hex on the Atlanta Falcons. But it goes beyond that. Like I said, the players are done. 4 players specifically sounded off yesterday. Kirk Cousins about the chair, Chris Lindstrom and Jake Matthews, who we're going to hear from here in just a moment, and Divine Diablo, who I didn't want to touch as much on what his comments were, mostly because he talked about himself rather than the team. But 4 players sounded off about the loss yesterday and what kind of the feeling is in the locker room. Let's start with Chris Lindstrom. Here's what he had to say. We're not going to the playoffs. We have a responsibility for 4 games now to try and go out there and win and finish the season the way we want. There's a lot of pride in our team, in the organization, and in our approach. So the mindset is just doing our job to be the best that we can every single day. So now you see the just find a way and do a job thing is bleeding into the players. It goes on to talk about that whole sort of like do your job thing. Here's what you need to know from this quote. Notice what he didn't mention. The coaches. Pride in the team, pride in the organization, pride in our approach. Nowhere does he mention Raheem Morris, Zach Robinson, or the coaches. Why? The players are done. You can't fool players. They're around you every single second of every single day. You cannot tell these media members and these fans what they want to hear and yet have the same approach with the players. They don't buy it. Jake Matthews goes on and says this. I completely understand the frustration, talking about the fans when asked what the fans deserve. They come here to see us win and play well. We had a good game going on in the first half. I get it. We're frustrated too. We want to win, and it's not happening, unfortunately. I mean, we got a couple options. I think what we are going to do is pick going out there, putting our heads down, and finding a way to win. Okay. Good to know. Thank you for letting us know that you still have to find a way, Raheem, or every player that is trying to give us this narrative that we need to find a way. Here's what you need to know about the find a way thing, by the way. When you don't have an answer, you'll say something like that. If you have no approach, if you have no solution, that is the just find a way approach. It's the blanket statement, the blanket term, and it's basically reading between the lines. You're admitting we don't know what to do. I know what to do. Fire Raheem. Punt the season. Focus on next year. And let's go back for a second in that quote. He said that they had a good first half going. No, bro. The defense had a good first half. You guys, offensively, played like shit. So let's go over the facts of the Falcons versus Seahawks. Offensively speaking, you were 1 of 13 on third downs. What were you, 1 of 1 in the first half? No. 0-4 on red zone trips. Was that just in the second half? No. 8 penalties for 56 yards. So undisciplined football, a lack of execution on third down, and not scoring the football. Does that sound like a good game to you? Because you kept it close? Is that what we're playing for now? Get real, brother. You didn't score an offensive touchdown. You didn't score a touchdown, period, yesterday. Don't try to blow smoke up our asses. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. You played awful. Here's the harsh truth, Falcons fans. The Falcons are so far away from even being a respectable team. I don't care that you lost by 1 to the Jets. They're not a respectable franchise. I don't care that you beat the Saints. I don't care that you lost to the Colts or the Patriots close. You're not close. A complete overhaul must be put into place now. That doesn't mean you get rid of everybody on the team, but you have to make tough decisions. You're most likely going to be without Kirk Cousins, most likely going to be without Kyle Pitts, and you're most likely going to be without Darnell Mooney next year. Clear up the cap space, go aggressive in free agency, and draft aggressively. Are you tired of the find a way mentality? I am. I'm sick of it. So let me know if you agree with me. Type your me's in the comment section. It lets me know that you're a real Falcons fan like me and you need change. Now, coming up, speaking of change, I do think one gets made today, later today. And I do believe, I'm calling my shot right now. If you're watching this, you can timestamp it. I think there is a coaching change made today, but it's not Raheem Morris. Before I get into that, I got to tell you about our friends over at Prize Picks. Weather has officially changed, and you know what? Everything about the holiday season is officially here. And while you and I are out here making decisions on what gifts to buy, what games to watch, there is one place where it feels good to be right, and that is on Prize Picks. If your fantasy season is completely cooked, mine lost weeks ago, but Prize Picks, I don't have to wait till next year's draft. Every single week I can play fantasy football and pick my favorite players. When they win, I hit their projections, and it just flows even more. Every single week, you can play Prize Picks with no draft required. Speaking of which, it takes 30 seconds to make a lineup. That's all it takes. Download the app, pick the player, the more or the less on their stat projections, and then watch your money multiply. Up to 2,000 times your cash this football season on Prize Picks. So download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Here's why I believe a change is happening today. Raheem Morris said they have to change things up on special teams. Now, you could look at this and go, this is just more coach talk from Raheem. I disagree. Because if you remember after the Jets game, they asked Raheem the exact same question. They said, what changes are you going to make on special teams? And Raheem said, we're not going to make any changes right now. I have a lot of faith in Marquise Williams. That's what he said, verbatim. You can go back and listen to the transcript. Now he's saying we have to change things up on special teams. I think Marquise is gone today. I think he gets fired, which is a step in the right direction. A step in the long 1.5 to 2 miles it's going to take to get back on the right track, but it is a step in the right direction. I'm not the only one, by the way, that sees this nonsense. The Falcons don't just have the worst special teams unit in the NFL. They have the worst special teams unit I've seen in maybe 10 years. I mean, Falcons fans, Falcons media members all over the map are saying the same thing. It is beyond atrocious. It's beyond horrid. And the fact that nothing has happened just leads me to believe this coaching staff is incompetent of even making a simple hiring or firing decision. But let's just break it down, right? Because, Moose, you can't just say special teams sucks. What specifically about them sucks? Well, they've got zero lane integrity on kickoffs, right? They have no concept of how to close in on opposing ball carrier. They break down on the line of scrimmage on kicks. You saw that yesterday as Zane Gonzalez got another field goal blocked. Missed kicks all season. That's not a Zane Gonzalez problem. That's a kicking problem. Young Waku, John Parker Romo. Terrible return schemes and wrong coverage designs are all things that I've noticed from the special teams this year. And J.D. Bertrand, who, by the way, I don't think should be on an NFL roster, period, actually enlightened us a little bit about where the Falcons special teams coaching comes into play. I think Marquise sets the direction. Beyond that, it's very much a matter of, hey, in order for all of us to get our job done as a collective whole and be able to stop returns and create returns, goes back to an individual doing their job. Stop right there. Stop right there. He just sets the direction. Is there any coaching involved at all? Is there any technique? Is there any discipline? Is there any repetition? Is there anything that goes beyond, hey, do this? And if the answer is no, then get the fuck off the field. It's not hard. I mean, what is wrong with that statement other than the entirety of it? Like, can you imagine a teacher going in to teach fifth grade students and saying, here's the lesson plan, do it? No, you actually have to teach the children. Because right now, the Falcons are playing like kids. You have to coach. Be a coach. Do the things that coaches need to do. You can't just put something up on the chalkboard or the whiteboard and say, here, stupid, you figure it out. I cannot be the only one that sees this. I'm a schmuck that works on YouTube. And I'm seeing it. It's just more, it is more malpractice of this Atlanta Falcons front office that any of these guys remain employed. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button like I said earlier. If you want change, top down, hit that sub button. We're trying to get to 47,000 subscribers. My name is Moose. Until later today, rise up and be cool.